I want to solve the drug availability problem in Africa, and there's a pathway to that.
So you studied pharmacy for 6 years, became a doctor of pharmacy, right?
Yeah.
Okay. How are you a businessman?
No, it was from a point of hunger. Because I used to sell everything. People wanted phones, though it was illegal. People also wanted it, so I'll find ways to get it to them. You see, Cycle, they have suitcases where they sell phones.
Yeah.
That's our point. I even experimented with that. The reason why I wanted to be a pharmacist was to solve the drug-related problems in Ghana, Accra, Ghana, Africa, in that order. When you go to areas like Nima and stuff, there are drug problems there. It transcends above the usual marijuana and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was exposed to drugs very early. You'd assume when you go to the hospital, I think you've gone to the hospital and you've been told that, oh, we have these drugs, but this one we don't have.
Yeah.
Right. It seems so basic, but it's a problem all over. It's a problem all over. And through that, people have died.
Yeah. Cool.
So adrenaline, your body produces it. That drug, right, when your heart stops, when we give you that drug, it's supposed to ideally make the heart start beating again. The drug is very cheap. I don't think it's up to 5 cedis for one. But we've had situations where this drug is not available, people die. And I don't think that's acceptable. Realize that chasing money in itself doesn't bring you really real happiness. If you want to be happy, even if it's shallow happiness, if it's real happiness, right? So you need to find something to do, right?
Yeah.
Something or someone to love, right? And something to hope for. If you can figure out these 3 things, you can have some level of happiness.
Hello, Accra. Hello, world. We're here again. Hope my voice is not boring. I'm not tired of my voice already, but another episode is here. And I'm particularly keen about this conversation. It's with a very young man who is an entrepreneur, an investor. I like to slide in philanthropist, but then it's not part of his CV formally. But then, yeah, he is the co-founder for Captureville and Alive Pharmacy. And he's a pharmacist, sorry. So we're going to go behind the curtain as usual, try and understand the story and pick up what we can pick up. And hopefully have a lovely conversation as usual. So Desmond, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
All right. So the name is Desmond Kwakye, right?
Yeah, Desmond.
All right, Desmond. Take us back. Have you always been in Accra?
No, I haven't been in Accra. I came to Accra with my parents when I was about 4 years old. But before that, I was born in Asenkrigwa.
Oh.
Yeah. It's a town. It's actually a large town in the Western region. Most people don't know about it, but
I understand because it means you're Wasa, right?
Yeah, Wasa.
You're Wasa.
Yeah, pure
You're probably the first Wasa I've met in Accra. Because most time when you meet people and you tell them, where are you from? What are you? I'm a Wasa. And you're like, Wasa, what is that? You just have to say fancy and go away.
Yeah. So I think most people don't divulge that information because they feel most people wouldn't know where that is. So, so they'll probably say I'm an Akan. Or most Wasas have other families from Enchi and Takrady, so they'll rather say those places.
From each of Takrady.
Yeah.
So you are from Asanko?
Yes, Asanko.
Yeah, I mean, for those who listen, Asanko is the name, Asanko. Anyway, cool. So you're with your parents in Asanko, right?
Yes.
So you're 4?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I used to move between Enchi and Asankrigwa because at a point my dad used to work there before he came to Asankrigwa, to the best of my knowledge.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're there and we moved to Accra and he got a transfer to Accra. My dad was a banker.
Okay, great.
Yes. My mom is a teacher.
Okay.
Right. So they all moved from there to Accra. We lived in Alajo for a couple of years.
Where your dad was and your mom is?
Yeah, my dad passed away. So it's not
sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yes, so that was in 2019. Right. Okay. So we came to Alajo and we moved to Mataiku, then to Kaswa. So that's how it is.
You've been in Accra. Yeah. Okay, cool. So like what you school in Accra, obviously. Schools.
Yeah. So most notable schools, the Youngsters.
Oh, okay. That's one.
Yeah, no. The Youngsters. So the one most people know about is the one at Adenta.
Oh,
yeah, but before the Adenta, we had the original the Youngsters. Yes.
Which one was where is that one?
So Kotobabi. There was
Okay.
one in Kotobabi,
Hmm.
right? And we had the JSS at RRC.
Okay.
We don't like saying RRC. Okay, we like saying RRC. Most
Yeah.
people will say Nima, but we like Railroad Central. It's nicer that way.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
You don't say Nima, you don't say RRC. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
RRC.
RRC boy.
Yes.
Yeah, so you went to GHS in the youngsters?
Yeah, the
And
youngsters.
then you went to senior high school where?
I went to senior high school in PRESEC.
Oh,
Yeah.
Accra.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a sharp guy. Presec,
Uh,
sharp
yeah,
guy.
I mean,
Yeah, look at you. Okay, cool. So after Presec, what happens after Presec?
yeah, so PRESEC.
Yeah.
PRESEC is a great school, I mean, but it was quite difficult for
Yeah.
me. I was in House 8, so some of your viewers, they will know where House 8 is.
Yeah. The competition was tight there.
Not competition, we're all regarded as stubborn.
Oh.
Yes. So
Well, I used to born.
I wasn't stubborn. Look at me. This cute face and how I was stubborn.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so it was quite difficult for
Yeah.
me. Punishment from everybody,
Mhm.
teachers, housemaster, and all.
Yeah.
But it was one of the most difficult times in my life. But
Yeah.
we pulled through. Yes, and we rode the WASI and we passed very well. And I went to do pharmacy.
Pharmacy.
Yeah.
KNUST.
Yeah, KNUST. So
Cool.
everyone wanted me to do medicine, but I wanted to do pharmacy.
Typical African home dynamic.
Yeah, yes. No, outside of my home, like society in
External
general.
pressure.
Yes.
I get
But
that.
I knew what I wanted, and I wanted.
But you had parents. How was it like with your parents? Were they quite liberal? Did they give you room to make your own decisions and stuff like that?
Yes, I mean, they would guide us. They would guide us to good decisions, right? And we're trained very well, to the best of my knowledge, because I think we are three. All of us have turned out great, and so I think we're trained very well. And they made us make our own decisions. But of course, we would consult with them and would weigh the downsides and upsides to every decision, then would go ahead with it. And I think that was what's helped me till now, because if you make your own decision and something bad comes out of it, you don't have anyone to blame than yourself. Yes.
Okay. So KNUST, 4 years. Oh wait, 6 years.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's a long time. It's cool. Yeah. So you studied pharmacy for 6 years, became a doctor of pharmacy, right?
Yeah.
Okay. How are you a businessman?
Where
did it all start? How are you a businessman?
Well,
wait, is any of your parents like? I mean, your dad was a banker, your mom was a teacher.
Yeah.
Did they like somehow play along with starting their own business? Did you get it from them?
No, my dad is not and it wasn't an entrepreneur at all. But my mom is actually.
Okay.
We haven't always had an easy life.
Okay.
I mean, my dad started from the lowest ranks in banking, and my dad was a teacher.
Okay.
She had a diploma.
Okay.
That's what she used to teach. So she started at a very low level. So times were quite difficult for us and always moving about. So we needed ways to survive, right? So my dad did his best. And as long as I could remember, my mom would always support her teaching with selling or something.
Okay.
So I mean, we've done everything before. We used to sell fun ice. So we had in our house, in our compound house in Alajo, our freezer, she would get some packs of fun ice and she would sell.
You're not stealing some.
Pardon?
You're not stealing some
no,
school.
I don't like sweets like that. So,
okay.
Yeah. So cold store, she would sell cloth. I mean, anything that she could sell.
Yeah.
And we saw the effort that she put into help us and the hard work my dad also put into support us. So I think that's where I got the skill from. But I don't know of my other siblings. My sister is a bit like me, but my brother is not.
Yeah, he wants to be in the system.
Yeah.
He wants to be in the system. Okay, so do you have like a vivid memory of your first dabble, so to speak, in like handling a transaction, doing business for yourself? To have any of such experiences, like really, really early memory or early experiences?
Yeah. So think from KG3 to class 1.
You went to KG3? You went to a DB school?
So Nigerian 1, Nigerian 2.
Okay.
So KG. So Nigerian 1, Nigerian 2. When you go to KG, it was called KG3.
Okay.
Instead of Nigerian 3.
Okay.
Yeah. So my mom she used to cook for me to go to school. My siblings liked the food. It was jollof, right? So there's a quick way of making jollof without using the paste and all. So you use you blend some tomatoes and some onions and you add your rice and leave it on the fire for it to cook with the rice.
Okay.
And you have a quick jollof. So one characteristic of that jollof is that it's not as red as your typical jollof.
We know you are involved in like a jollof business, but you come to that. We didn't say it started.
I'm not involved in the jollof business.
Okay.
Yeah, but I know people who are involved in that. So yeah. So my siblings like that jollof, but I didn't. But there's no way I'm going to tell my mom that, Mom, I don't like your food.
Yeah.
Right. So I figured out a way. I mean, everyone could win. So when I sent the jollof to school, so the first day I let my mates try it. So, do you like it? I said, oh yeah, it's very nice. I mean, I don't like it. So I told them, okay. They also didn't like the canteen food. Right. My favorite food is bankun. There was some bankun at Kotobabi that I liked very much. So what I did, okay, fair. I'll price the jollof for you per spoon. And
crazy. At KG3.
Yeah, and you give me money. So if I tear 1 spoon for you, I mean, so people were like 10 spoons of jollof, and I'll get the money. So at the end of the day, if I sell my flask of jollof, and I'll use that to go and buy the food I like, and even save some money on the side. Yeah, so I think that's the earliest memory I have of the first.
That's crazy. That's interesting. Okay, so let's go back to KNUST. In KNUST, 6 years pharmacy. I mean, you speak to a lot of like entrepreneurs, like business people who get the privilege of going to college. For most of them, that's where it starts.
Yeah.
You know, a chunk of it was that for you, or probably yours was earlier? And if it was that, walk us through that journey.
So pre-KNUST, there was PRESEC too.
Okay.
I think one advantage of PRESEC is that it's in Accra, right?
Okay.
So you're exposed to markets. Though you're in boarding house, I mean, you can't find a way to go out and transact with the outside market. So we found businesses there. I think it's one of the core places that I've met some of my business partners.
Okay.
For example, for Captureville, a business that I'm a co-founder of. The current CEO. Now,
Captureville is a photography business. Yeah.
Yes. So yeah.
Very popular.
Yeah. So the co-founder that I am with now is called Clenam. Okay. He's currently the CEO of Captureville.
Okay.
Yeah. So I met him there. He was my roommate for the longest time. Went to
PRESEC.
PRESEC. Yeah, PRESEC. So PRESEC, I used to sell everything from phones to pen drives to
How did that start? Were you trying to? When did you decide, okay, I want to just start selling something? Was that you needed money, or it was just a thrill?
Yeah, no, it was from a point of hunger. I mean, if you're hungry, you use the skills available to you to make the money. And I think at that point, I could sell. I still can. I think that's one of the traits I have. So I mean, if I could sell and if I can identify the gaps that are available, then I'll take advantage of it. I mean, PRESEC, people wanted phones. Though it was illegal, people also wanted it. So I'll find ways to get it to them. Pen drives, any electronic gadgets whatsoever, I would get it for them.
Yeah.
So
the Medina markets.
Pardon?
Medina markets.
Yeah, so at Seco, tiptoeing, it got to a point.
So you left Medina to Seco?
Yeah, Seco. So it got to a point I even had I had a lot of friends, so they even giving me a stand. You see, Seco, they have suitcases where they sell phones.
Yeah.
That's our point. I even experimented with that.
Yeah. Crazy guy. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you're selling phones and gadgets in PRESEC, and then now you get to KNUST. You're making good money, I guess.
Yeah, but all of that was going to, I mean, partly to support myself and to try and solve other problems too.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So when you get to KNUST, now you're studying pharmacy. I mean, you're like a typical conventional trajectory of being like a well-to-do person. Why did you start selling again? To pay your school fees?
Yeah. Well,
what was happening?
So it gets to a point the hunger changes to thrill, like the thrill of maybe you can relate.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're an entrepreneur, I think one of the spirits that you have is that you always want to do something.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, the money is important, but it goes
The challenge.
Yeah, it goes beyond that. You want to solve problems, so I felt I'd want to do that, so I did that.
Okay.
I did that. So any opportunity that would be available to me, I'll take advantage of it and solve any problem that will come. Yeah.
Okay, so what's the first business, like the first enterprise you did in KNC, the first one?
So Captureville.
Captureville,
Yeah.
okay.
Captureville was, I think it was back in 2017. That was when we got the idea. So my partner and I. So the story behind that, I got a really good deal for a camera, right?
Okay.
I think it was a 6D, Canon 6D.
Canon.
Yes, or
Okay.
something. Someone was selling for cheap at Edu. So the idea was to buy it and sell it and get a profit, right? So when I bought it, my other partner, Clenham, he was already doing photography. He had a small camera. I think he got it from his dad or his uncle. Those cameras that have digital zooms.
Okay.
You don't need to, yeah. And I told her, this is what I have. I won't sell it. And so why don't we come
Use the
together
camera.
and make a photo? I said, okay, man, that's a good idea. I mean, at that point, I think something that helped us was that there were a lot of photographers in Kenya. I think there's still so like it was a community, so it was easy to start get gigs. Yes, right.
Yeah, events and all that.
So we came together and I mean we made the agreement. At that time it was even verbal agreement. We didn't write anything on paper.
Gentleman's agreement. You shook hands on there.
Yeah. So
has that boded well?
I wouldn't advise for that now. People tend to get greedy.
Yeah.
And I mean, if people are not willing to sign agreements, it's a bad sign.
Yeah.
Right. So, but I think it helped us then. But I wouldn't advise for anyone.
Yeah.
You should push for documentation as early as possible. Yeah. So when we got together and we started a company, right? So at that point, we were both photographers.
What was your role? You're not a photographer, were you?
Yeah, I was a photographer. I was
At what point did you become a photographer?
Yeah.
Your camera could click, so that's all.
Yeah, I mean, I'm what's the word? Voracious learner.
Yeah.
Yes. So when I'm passionate about something, I learn about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you picked up photography in KNUC?
Yeah, KNUC.
Okay. Which year was it? Second year, third year?
2016. I think that was about third year.
Third year. Okay,
yeah, third year. Right. But I didn't have the time. People who know pharmacy. Pharmacy is quite stressful.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, okay.
So Clenham was doing most of
the Clenham was doing the
capturing.
most of the shooting. I mean, we would compare the money and I mean use it to balance things out. Okay. But I got to a point. So that was when I started my investing purely. For my other businesses, photography when you're starting is quite capital intensive. If you want to improve upon the quality of your pictures and your works, you need to invest some money. In today's time, it's not much, but if you're in KNUST, if you're in the university, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I would find money and we would buy gears, we would manage the money. So that's how we grew the business. Yes, that's how we grew the business.
So like you said, end up setting up your own studio.
Yeah, so we set up a first studio, it failed. Clenham used to stay at Afienya. It's quite far from everywhere. Right. So now I've gotten a studio as Gbawi. But depending on where.
Are you talking about a studio on campus or a studio outside campus?
Yeah, so studio on campus. Yes, we set up one at forgotten the hostel's name. It's quite popular.
Where is it? Off campus?
Yeah, off campus, where they used to do Epilogo.
Which you do Epilogo? Georgia.
Yeah, the one before.
The whole area is Gaza.
So there's one. Crystal Rose, yes. Crystal Rose. This guy is a
bad boy.
Crystal Rose.
Bad boy going for Epilogo.
Yeah. So Crystal Rose. We didn't have a studio. We couldn't afford the equipment. So we used to do outside shoots and all. And I mean, so we would get wedding gigs, not our personal gigs, but from other photographers, and we would pay peanuts, but we'll do a lot of free shoots to take most of our time. But I mean,
how's it been with Captureville so far after school?
Yeah. Captureville is it's going really well now.
Okay.
It's
So
going.
it's still existing.
Yeah, it's still
How many
exists.
employees now? Captureville?
So we have so we have 8 permanent employees.
Oh wow, that's great.
Yes, and we contract other people to support us when.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Can you tell us like what an event that or something you did that with Captureville that like really blew your mind? Like it made you think, wow, we're actually doing this.
Yeah. So okay, so
From that one camera that was going off at Idum to becoming like an actual film.
yeah. So we did a whole production for one of the biggest companies in Ghana, and I don't know if I mean I won't mention the company's name for but so that was when we realized that we
Were you on campus or you're out of school?
We're out of school.
Okay, cool.
We're out of school. So one thing about Captureville is that at a point we wanted to go out of just doing photography and doing videography too. So I was forced to upgrade my skills to be a videographer.
Oh, okay.
So I had to learn that from scratch.
Wow, like video edit, post-production, everything.
Shooting, post-production, game boy, drone work, everything.
Oh,
yeah.
Hard guy.
Yeah, so when you go to our page right now, most of the videos that are there, I shot edited by myself.
Impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, I know it's impressive.
It's very impressive.
Yeah,
okay, so now there's Captureville. Yeah, it's grown from like one someone who was letting the camera go to an actual film, with staff and doing whole production for multinationals.
Yeah.
Right. Now I'm aware of your career as a pharmacist.
Yeah.
You're a pharmacist. Tell us about that journey. And I know you run a pharmacy business.
Yeah.
And there's a plan for that, right?
Yeah.
Allied Pharmacy.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Yeah.
How did you get into the pharmacy business? I know you're a pharmacist, but I mean it's not a given. So how did you get into the pharmacy business?
Yeah. So I think earlier in our conversation I told you I've always wanted to do pharmacy, right? There was a plan. A thing about where I grew up is we had a drug problem. It was endemic too. I mean, it's no secret. When you go to areas like Nima and stuff, there are drug problems there. It transcends above the usual marijuana and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was exposed to drugs very early. And at first, I could see the detrimental effects of the drugs, right? Yeah. And how the health system doesn't, like, there's a whole stigma around that. So I realized how could I effectively help in solving that problem. And I knew that being a pharmacist gave me the biggest leverage in that. But at that point, I didn't even know how I would solve that. But I just knew that that's something that I wanted to solve. So the reason why I wanted to be a pharmacist was to solve the drug-related problems in Ghana, Accra, Ghana, Africa, in that order. So that was why I wanted to be a pharmacist. And, for other skills, because it's a professional program, you can't just learn it off YouTube and apply your skills. Yeah. You need to actually go to school, get certificates to be recognized as
like being a videographer.
Yeah. So if I could learn it off YouTube, I would have done it. I wouldn't have gone to school for 6 years too. But I needed to do that to get the requisite skills to do that. So that was why I wanted to be a pharmacist. When you go into the program and when you're exposed to the network, you get more ideas and you have a focus on how you can actually implement the plan. Right. So there's a plan, but you can modify it to suit what you want to do. So that's what I did. So in that respect, I realized that, okay, fine. I'm a young person, right? How do I get the experience to actually start solving that problem? I realized, okay, the most traditional way is by opening a pharmacy.
Okay.
Right. A pharmacy exposes you to so many things. It lets you know how to run a business. Yeah. That's one. It lets you understand the supply chain.
Okay.
Of how the pharmaceutical industry is. Yes. Yeah. I'm a huge fan of vertical integration. Okay. And 3, it can help you identify the gaps there to start solving the problems. Yeah. To start. So again, I tweet about a lot of weird things. I say a lot of, but one thing I tweet time and time again is that I want to solve the drug availability problem in Africa, and there's a pathway to that. And I think I've
Drug
identified it.
availability.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
So you,
Like access to drugs.
yeah,
or-
access to drug.
So do you mean the presence of like a wide array of drugs, like production in the system or on the side of the patient, accessing these medication with like some flexible payments or some credits? Or how does that look like? Or it encompasses everything.
Yes. So before you even think of payments, the
Yeah.
drug needs to be available,
Exactly.
right?
So it means the
And
manufacturing.
It's a supply chain problem,
Okay.
right? So people, you'd assume when you go to the hospital, I think you've gone to the hospital and you've been told that, oh, we have these drugs, but this one we don't have,
Yeah.
right? It seems so basic,
Mhm.
but it's a problem all
Yeah.
over. It's a problem all over.
So-
And through that, people have died.
Yeah.
Because
So like the drugs are available.
yes, the drugs are
yes.
available.
So there's a supply chain problem.
Yes, good.
Is it going to be like logistics or just
Yeah. So when you look at the supply chain, logistics also part of that. That was, and when you look at the government initiated a program, the drone, forgetting the name.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they are attempting to solve that, but I think it's too expensive.
Yeah.
Anyways, I want to solve that.
Okay.
I want to solve that, and I think I have found a pathway
To that. Okay, so now you've gone to school for 6 years. You're a pharmacist. I'm sure. Were you interning with a hospital or like
Yeah.
a community pharmacy?
So, currently, I'm with UGMC, University of Ghana Medical.
No, I'm talking about back then. So when
Back
you're done
then.
with school, right
Yeah.
after school, were you with a hospital or
Yeah. So
a community pharmacy?
as soon as I was done with school,
Yeah.
I started the two concurrently, the Allied Pharmacy, and I did a house job at Kolebu.
Okay, so you started the pharmacy while doing a house job. How did that?
Yeah. So
How did that start? How did you get the capital for that? Because I know like in the pharmacy is capital intensive. I know like it's a credit heavy business.
yeah, it
You know,
is.
the suppliers will give you the drugs and everything, but you have to show something.
Yeah.
You know, put something on the table.
Yes.
How did you get that?
So I had another partner, my very
Oh.
good friend.
So you're always getting partners.
Yeah. I mean, as I mentioned, I would recommend everyone to get partners.
You don't want to do like a business on your own.
I've done a bit, and it's so stressful. I don't want to go through that again.
Okay.
Yes, and you're more likely to fail.
You recommend that you have someone along with you.
I strongly recommend.
Okay. Okay, sure. So you tell us about this partner.
Yeah, so this partner, I won't name.
Okay.
Yeah, he wants to be a silent partner. I mean, for people who know me very well, he was a very good friend. We went to pharmacy school together.
Okay.
Yeah, we're roommates for a while,
Mhm.
and he also has a similar path that I am. I'm very particular of the partners I choose because I would want one who can contribute to the business
Okay.
and one who understands the business. I'm not necessarily looking for someone who has money, because when you make that mistake, which I've made before, they are so quick to get their money back if they don't understand
the dynamics of the
Yes.
business.
And that becomes a stress on you. So some people say, so there'll be an investor, there'll be an employee whom you can't fire.
Yeah, it's true.
You can't fire them because
you're on a cap table.
Yes.
Okay.
And I wouldn't want that. So I choose people who are familiar with the line of business I'm going to and who can contribute to the business in other ways that are not necessarily money, because we need all the skills.
Okay, so you just walk up to this partner of yours and say, hey, I want to start a pharmacy. Can you give me your money?
Yes.
And you did?
Yes.
Wow.
Because I think at that time, what helped me was that I had a track record.
Okay.
He could see what I could do. Yes, what I had done.
So after Captureville, was there anything else you had done prior to this?
Yeah.
I mean, I know you've done everything.
Yeah, I've done everything. So I identified an opportunity when in KNUST. I think because of my health background, I mean, I'm into food too. So I do.
Yeah, I mean, I said you know you're in the jollof business.
No, for yogurts. Yeah.
Okay.
So
what's the name of the yogurt company? Is it a company?
Yeah, it's a company. Yeah, it's Plus Yogurts, Plus Treats. We want to expand into other.
Okay.
Yeah, so we do yogurts.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah. Should I?
No, we will talk about that.
Okay.
After we done with the pharmacy.
Okay. So So yeah, so we got the money, we signed all the agreements, and
Yeah.
we started the process of owning our own pharmacy
In Accra.
in Accra, which is quite a stressful process
Mm.
because of the regulations and everything.
Yeah. But then now you're a pharmacist, you have a license to do that.
Yeah. But having a license is just the first step.
Okay.
It takes on average a year to get the final license to actually
Run a pharmacy.
Open it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So what does the future look like for Ally Pharmacy?
Yeah. So for Ally Pharmacy, yes. So we want to, retail pharmacy, when you're at the end, you are more exposed to shocks because what a manufacturer would do, yes, would affect you. Delivery person, wholesaler, importer, all of them will affect you. So we want to own that whole
entire chain.
Yes. So that it will be flawless, right?
Yeah.
And to expand
like the NS chemists and all that.
Yeah, yes. NS chemist is fine, but
could do more.
Yeah, I think
Pfizer.
Yes. So so it's easier to focus on a part of the chain and run it. It's more profitable that way.
So what part of the chain do you want to focus on?
I don't focus. With respect to the people that you mentioned, the companies that they like to focus on.
Specialized.
Yeah, okay. Specialized. Because you can increase your profits margin.
Your margins,
yes. Yeah. And when you're more focused, you can expand very well.
Yeah.
But I feel it won't solve the problem that
you're
I want
to.
Yeah. So yeah, I want to go deeper.
So how many years now with Ally Pharmacy?
So 2024, 3 years.
Okay. How many branches?
Just one.
One branch.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's a model branch, and we are using that to figure it out.
Yeah. Okay.
If I would, well, when? Because we've already started the process of getting.
Was there any for you to source for external investments? Has there been the need to?
No.
So far, you've been bankrolling from out of pocket.
Yeah. Yes.
That's wild.
Yes. Bootstrapping.
Yeah.
I've even lost weight.
You don't look like somebody who has lost weight. Okay, cool. So you've been bootstrapping an entire pharmacy. I know it's a credit-heavy business. I want to understand. Like, I'm particularly interested in credit, right?
Yeah.
And you sort of get credits from what's it called? The suppliers.
Yes.
And I have a couple of questions on that front. Do you also extend credits to the buyers?
We modeled that. It failed. So there's either a problem with the method we used, or it's a general.
What was the method? What happened? So I know M-Pharma is also trying something like that.
Yes.
Have you considered partnering M-Pharma or?
No.
Okay.
Yes.
So what happened with yours?
So on a bigger scale, think of it as a bank giving loans to people. Yes. So that's the same thing. I think it's a general behavior of Ghanaians. Maybe you don't have a strong
terrible credit behavior.
Yeah.
If you had a financier who comes to you and say, "Hey, Highlight Pharmacy, I want people to have access to drugs on credits. I'm going to provide a guarantee with capital, right? But you extend the meds, slap a certain commission, a certain fee on it, interest more or less, on the payment plan. Are you up for that?"
No, the technology that I would need to make it successful, we don't have that.
What's that technology?
You need to find an efficient way of tracking people.
Okay.
And unfortunately, our whole ecosystem doesn't support that.
Yeah. Because, you also feed into, I'm asking this question because it feeds into the problem you mentioned earlier about like access to medication. And I think one of the best ways to provide like access in the kind of emerging market you're in is credits.
Yes.
Unfortunately, we have like a heavily informal credits market.
Yes.
Right. But you have to figure it out too, because it's part of the whole.
Yeah. So I've known this for a while. That's why for pharmacy, the problem I want to solve.
Yeah.
Doesn't really. The goal is not to make a lot of profit out of it.
Okay.
So maybe that's where your philanthropy will come. Yeah. So it's not to make. It's just to make drugs available to
The people who can buy.
Not people can buy per se. Let me give you a typical example.
Yeah.
There's a drug called adrenaline,
Okay.
right? I'm a critical care pharmacist, so yeah. So there's a drug called adrenaline.
Who's a critical care pharmacist?
So a critical care pharmacist, we look at very sick patients. So
Okay.
in critical care, what we call the intensive care units, right?
Okay.
If you're not well there, then there's nothing no one can do for you again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I think that's the last stop.
Okay.
Yeah, so in layman's terms,
I get it.
right?
Okay, cool.
So adrenaline, your body produces it. So that's what makes you. So the fight and flight.
Oh, yeah.
I think maybe you came across that
Yeah.
in senior high school. So that drug, right? When your heart stops, when we give you that drug, it's supposed to ideally make the heart start beating again. The drug is very cheap. I don't think it's up to 5 cedis for one. But we've had situations where this drug is not available, people die. And I don't think that's acceptable.
Yeah.
Right? At a point in Ghana, we had a shortage of normal saline. So normal saline is when if you lose a lot of water.
So I really want to understand. I clearly understand the problem.
Yeah.
So far, I mean, you've been in the business for 3-4 years now.
Yeah.
What do you think is the bottleneck? Is it that the supply is not coming in? Like the manufacturers are not bringing in a lot of these medications you're talking about, or like there's a heavy logistics that is impeding the flow of the medication from the manufacturers to the last man?
So I think it's a problem of communication, right? So a drug may be available here and a drug is needed here. But these two people or facilities don't know that one has one and one needs one.
Okay.
That's a problem.
Okay.
We can even predict when a place will need a specific medication.
Yeah.
There are models for that.
Okay.
I mean, when you go deep in technology, people can build models for that.
Okay.
We don't have that existence here.
Okay. Sorry. Crazy. You stayed on this problem for 2 months. I think I'm probably just too excited about that kind of problem you're into. Okay, so you've run the pharmacy for 4 years now.
Yeah.
How many employees do you have on that end as well?
So I have 5 employees now.
Okay.
Yes,
great.
and I work with. So
you're still with the same partner you started with?
Yeah.
So the pharmacist too?
Yes, a pharmacist. Okay. The model of pharmacy I run, I also work with other people from other fields.
Okay.
Data analysis, programmers, software engineers, all those things.
So like a tech based pharmacy. You mentioned that you're with UGMC now.
Yeah.
So is it like currently with UGMC as a pharmacist?
Yeah, yes, I'm a pharmacist.
Oh, okay. Yeah, really on your game. Okay, so now there's the yogurt business.
Yeah.
Food business.
Yeah, I like it very much. It's one of my
How did that want to
start? So in KNUST, I didn't know yogurt was a big thing until I went to KNUST.
Okay.
Yeah, it became my favorite snack. So when it gets at
not,
that time,
not Gary and beans.
No. Oh. I like Gary and beans, but yogurt. Okay, Gary and beans not snack. It's a whole meal.
Hey, it's a snack for KNUST people.
No.
Okay.
No phone. So in KNUST at that time, how they sell the yogurts? They'll bring it right from the farm, and you see those plain rubbers. They'll fetch some and put in or tie it for you, and you buy pancake and stuff.
Okay.
And you eat it. I felt it was a really good meal, and I was supposed how is this thing produced? So I did my research. I realized that no, I wanted this same one, this same type. So I headed to the the agricultural research. It's out of campus at Buedi, I think. Okay. Yes, and we met someone there. So I started the same one with Clenham, the one I
Captureville.
Yes. Okay. So we went there and he promised to teach us.
I'm sure he was your best man at your wedding.
He wasn't. I had a traditional wedding. So
okay.
He was part of it. He's a very, very, very good friend. So when he promised to teach us, we paid. I think we paid 2,000 cedis then.
Oh, okay. That's a lot of money back
then. There's a lot of money. A lot of money. But he didn't even teach us very well, because what I realized was that it's actually a trade secret. So they wouldn't teach you everything there is to know.
Yeah.
So he thought about ours wasn't working. This was about 18.
Mhm.
But we wanted to do very well, and we had even seen what Yumi and stuff were doing. So we was wondering how they did that. So
Okay.
we took it as a challenge on ourselves to actually learn. So after
Okay.
that, we started iterating the formula,
Mhm.
experimenting more. And my pharmacy background, I've worked in labs and stuff. So
Okay.
yeah, so I think that
Oh, that
was
came in
very,
handy.
yeah. It took us about 4 years to actually get the final.
4
Yes, 4
years.
years of experimentation.
What kept you going?
I wanted to solve the problem. I don't.
Taste problem.
Unfortunately, I don't give up easily. I think it's
Yeah. So now, do you have like a whole like manufacturing plant on that front, or
yeah. So we have a mini manufacturing plant.
okay, wait,
It
in
started
Accra?
in Accra. It's a Kaswa. We want to expand it
Are
further.
you looking for investors?
No,
Why? You are not looking for investors in all your opportunities.
I already have investors.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
I already have investors, and again, okay, I'm always looking for investors,
yeah,
but the right kind of
right,
investors.
okay, cool.
Yeah.
So like, I want to just for the sake of like other budding entrepreneurs and even existing entrepreneurs
Yeah.
who are listening and watching, um, about like your financing instruments,
Yeah.
right? How have you gone through that process? The debt or equity? Do you have lawyers looking at the books for you? Like, how do you typically go through your financing rounds as an entrepreneur? Like, at the time when you've had to raise capital, I don't mean those initial conversations with your friend. I'll bring this, let me bring this.
Yeah.
That's different. But as the business has been built, when there's a need for you to raise capital, how do you go about it? Especially in a market like ours, not like ours, where it's hard for people to raise capital.
Yeah.
Like it's hard. You speak to banks, they don't want to mind you. Nobody seems to want to give you money for anything. How have you gone about that? How do you source for investors? That's one. And how do you handle the process of your financing round?
So seeking for investors, in my honest opinion, I think you need to start as early as possible. Early as in be- what most people don't realize is that you get investors from your circle.
Mm-hmm.
People want to solve problems. People, I think to a level, everyone is an entrepreneur. Not an entrepreneur as once you own your own business, but if you even have a job, you can solve problems there, right? And people want to collaborate. I think it's an innate part of us humans. You want to
Community.
collaborate,
Yeah.
come together. You need to start early so that, of course, not everyone is trustworthy, but it's better to make those mistakes early on than
Okay.
later. Early on with the small investments, so that you can know who you can trust,
Okay.
and you can build on that reputation, that relationship to actually build bigger things.
Yeah.
And from your network, you'll be exposed to a wider network, because if you have a trustworthy person, if you know the person is trustworthy, of course, that person also knows other trustworthy
The
people.
people. Yeah.
If you have,
So you're pushing for family and friends. That's like, I mean, in regards to sourcing for investments.
yes,
Okay.
yes, I think it works well for
Mhm.
everyone, and even in our system
Mhm.
now. Again, we have a problem. We have a problem with data. We have a problem of, if I want to know your history very well, I mean, I'll have limited data as against if you're in a place like the United States or parts
Yeah.
of Europe where you have a very good credit system from which I can glean on. But what I have available is your reputation,
Mm-hmm.
what I'm hearing from people around you, and what you've actually built.
Yeah.
That's what I'm relying on. And
Mm.
unfortunately, that's what we have, and that's what we need to take
Yeah.
advantage of.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so that's what on the sourcing. How do you go about your financing process? How do you know which instrument to use when you're raising capital? And what informs that? You see,
So
how do you structure like investments coming into your businesses? You
yeah,
see, what informs that? You understand me?
yes, I
Yeah.
understand you. So one, two resources that you shouldn't compromise on are accountants and lawyers.
Okay.
You need them. There's no easy way of going about it. So what some of my friends have done with their businesses, that they actually partner with these people, so they don't need to pay them out of pocket. They give them equity. So if the business
Yeah.
grows, they are part of it.
Yeah.
And because of their knowledge in these specific fields which you would need, they solve that problem for you.
Yeah.
But in order to also check them, it's like governments, right? Checks and balances. You need to have some skill sets, some basic skill sets in these two.
Yeah.
At least know how financing works, know how those things work. So that if they bring a report, if they're recommending something, you can actually understand.
How did you as a person learn that? I mean, you didn't particularly study finance or business in school. How did you pick it up?
Oh, knowledge is quite abundant now. So I feel if you really want to learn something, you would.
Okay.
And you can also learn that from your partners. Okay. But you can always corroborate those what you learn from literature or from your work. So I think it's quite feasible.
Great. Cool. So now you're a pharmacist, right? You're involved in food business, you're involved in a pharmacy business, you're involved in a photography business, you're an investor in other enterprises. Yeah. I'll probably give you my pitch deck because I'm looking for investment. And and then you're a married man, you come to that. Yeah. Like, how do you manage all this? How do they come together for you on a day-to-day?
It never comes together.
And like you're an actual farmer, like you work with the hospital.
Yes. It never comes together. I mean, one thing you can learn is to trust people. You need to. I think it's not a big thing in Ghana here, trusting people. That's why you see a lot of solo entrepreneurs around, because they can't trust anyone too. You need to trust people and you need to empower them to also take some responsibilities in whatever you're willing to do, so that you can run all those things. But it gets easier, or you get stronger, anyway you'd like to put it. You tend to find a structure in the chaos, and you allocate the time and the resources to each one.
Yeah.
But I also need a support system.
Okay. Yeah. Right. So I learned that you got married last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's this conversation in like entrepreneur circles that, marriage will slow you down and you can't take as much risk as you take prior to when you get married, all of that. How has that played out for you?
Oh, I think in my part, it's those are mere misconceptions.
Okay.
I think finding a life partner is the, how do I even rank it? Finding a life partner, I think, is, some people rank it as the most important decision you can make, because it will either make or break you, right? So if you, as a person, if you feel you're an entrepreneur, you need to grow, find someone who supports your dreams. Right? And that person would 10 times that for you. Yeah. That person would impede that. So I think marriage is good if you find the right partner.
How has marriage changed you? You have kids? You have kids now?
Pardon?
You have kids?
No, I don't have kids.
Okay, cool.
Marriage has made me calmer. Yes. Not calmer as in slowed me down, but I tend to think deeply about things. You tend to also think about the future. I'm even more passionate about the problems I want to solve now.
Yeah.
Because when you get married, right, and when your wife starts talking about kids, right, you think about the kind of future you want to live for your kids.
Yeah.
And you realize at a level, you die, and your kids will be left with society.
Yeah.
And as an individual, you can shape the society that your kids will meet.
Yeah.
Believe me or not, sometimes it seems so difficult to believe. But everything that we see around us was shaped by individuals.
Yeah.
And that's where we are today. So I feel if you can have a positive role in that, do it for your kids. So it makes you think deeply about the future and watch the things you do now to shape that future.
The Collison brothers, the Stripe co-founders, they're like, everything around you is like someone's passion project. Yeah. From the language you're speaking to the traffic light, someone did it. Yeah. Cool. So what does success look like for you?
Success is not money.
Okay.
Money, money in itself is so mundane. It doesn't make sense. One thing that fascinates me is economy. Like I like economics,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the more you delve deeper into economics, you realize that money is not really the end goal. Outside of that, so when you look at the spiritual side of that too, maybe some of your audience are spiritual. Realize that chasing money in itself doesn't bring you really real happiness. So I read something somewhere, right? So if you want to be happy, even if it's shallow happiness,
Mm-hmm.
or it's real happiness, right? So you need to find something to do, right?
Yeah.
Something or someone to love, right? And something to hope for. If you can figure out these three things, you can have some level of happiness.
Okay.
But depending on the how spiritual you are or how religious you are, you can fine tune these three things to yourself and
Okay.
realize some form of happiness there.
Now you've picked up what you're doing. You've picked up someone to love. Shout outs to your woman, your wife. But what are you hoping for?
Uh
I mean, you've mentioned that you want to being aware of the fact that you're going to die,
yeah,
leave a better future for your kids.
yeah.
No. But what else are you hoping for in life? Like, what are you hoping for?
What I'm hoping for,
I mean, in regards to your business as well.
well, I mean the so for business, I'm hoping anything that I do today
Mhm.
will be successful. Where successful, I measure success in that the problem or the aims of running those businesses are met perpetually. And we can even build on that. So
Okay.
that's the business aspect. Um, so for my life, I want to have a fulfilling life. The problems will come, but finding the people around you who will always be there for you till the end is also important for me.
Yeah.
So, I mean, those are the things I'm hoping for. I don't think I'm a very complicated person in that
Will
regard.
there come a time where you drop off your 9 to 5 with the hospital?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Definitely. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
You come off as a religious person. I don't know, I might be wrong. Are you a
yeah,
religious person?
yeah. I am.
A Christian,
I'm a
Muslim?
Christian.
A Christian.
Yeah,
And clearly you said that you know you're going to die.
yeah,
What are your views? I ask everybody about this, and now you brought it to yourself.
yeah.
What are your thoughts on death? Do you think there's more beyond life? Like, do you think you're going to go beyond? There's something beyond this realm.
No, not necessarily. I think when you die, you are dead.
Okay.
But I think when if you believe in God, God can resurrect you to live forever.
Okay.
Yes, so that's what I believe in. The whole idea of
An afterlife
an afterlife, it just doesn't make sense
to you.
Yeah.
Cool. I see. So how does that reality or like worldview affect your life as an your day to day as a businessman? Like
How does who?
the idea that you're going to die, the fact that you're going to die,
Yeah,
and when you die, you're dead. When you die, you're
yeah,
dead. And you believe that, I mean, there's a higher power who can resurrect you.
yeah.
How do you think that's like translates into your everyday life as a businessman, as a husband, as a soon to be father?
Yeah. So one thing that brings me fulfillment is doing the best you can every day. So I think that's enough. So doing right by your wife, your kids, your family, doing right by God, I think
Yeah.
that's enough for me. And I mean, death is. I mean, people have died since time immemorial.
Yeah.
So I think at a point in time you come to that realization. Most people come to the realization later than usual. I've had near-death experiences twice alone. Yeah. So I've come to terms with that faster, and I'm okay. I mean,
Yeah. Crazy.
yeah.
Anyway, I want us to keep going, but I would leave it here.
Yeah.
I know we're going to have a conversation again when you like appear on like Forbes and like you solve the problem to like a high degree, and Ally Pharmacy is like really solving the supply problem you are aiming at solving. And I'm hoping to send you my deck so you can bring me some investments since you're an investor.
Oh, no problem.
Okay, cool, Mr. Desmond. Thanks for I hope you had a great conversation.
Yeah, we've had it. So one thing I want to add,
Your last words.
yeah. So I think, in my opinion,
Mhm.
I think we were having a conversation earlier. I don't think money is the least problem that you can face in it. Access to money.
Yeah.
I think throughout history, now is the easiest time to get money.
Money.
Yes. So I think if you really want the money to run things, you can. And I think maybe we should. I don't like people tagging whole entrepreneurs as arrogant
Yeah.
and being selfish and all. I think being an entrepreneur is the most selfless thing you can do because through you're alleviating a lot of people out of poverty.
Yeah.
Even on a micro scale, that's fine. But think of it on a macro scale. Throughout Africa, just a single burden idea in your head
Yeah.
can help a lot of families
Yeah.
out of the problems that they're in. And I think that's the most altruistic thing you can ever do. And that's
Yeah.
what drives me to
Great.
do it.
I think we're having a conversation as a team, and we're asking why we decided to do this podcast. And I think there's a general sense that the African continent is going to be built by people who carry the entrepreneurial spirit. You know,
Yeah.
like you look at America in the Gilded Ages. You know, the Rockefellers, the Vanderbilts. They built America,
Yeah.
right? And the same can happen to this continent. So we just need people who will have the entrepreneurship spirit.
It will
stirred
happen.
up.
I mean, it's a matter of
So I mean, people listen to stories like yours. You know, I'm sure you also got into, like, from the conversation we had, you got into this because you saw your mom do it. Your
Yeah.
mom's story inspired you to,
Yeah.
you know, do it for yourself. And you know, someone listening, someone watching would do same. And then we set a fire
Yeah.
blaze on this continent.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Desmond, for a great
Thank
conversation.
you too for it.
All right. So guys, you do it. Thanks.